Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AndersMill Knits. I'm your host, Emily, and you can find me on Ravelry as aka Millie, on Instagram as aka Millie907. Oh wait, and let's go back to Ravelry again, because we do have a Ravelry group, which is AndersMill Knits. I haven't posted in there in months. And I do have a WordPress blog in which I try to keep up with. I didn't post the notes from last episode, but I'm hoping to post the notes from this episode, even though I am, as you can see, filming on the fly or in my car. And I'm sorry, I've got a scratchy throat. It's a very rainy morning here in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's very wet out, and I'm waiting to go in and see my doctor, and you can tell that I am not getting enough sleep lately. So why don't we just jump right in? There's no administrative doohickeys going on because I just haven't been feeling up to par enough to do anything, say like a knit along or a giveaway or anything. I'm hoping to get back into that soon. I would really love to do a giveaway very soon. So if anybody's out there that wants to donate so that we can give away your amazing products and maybe do a little bit of a review, that would be amazing. And don't forget, guys, to subscribe and to share this video with others and this podcast with others. All right, so as I said, so we can review or review notes. As I said, we are in my car, and the reason we are in my car is I am waiting to see my doctor. Last week at my new job for the Anchorage School District, I work with the special ed department, and it's not a new job because I'm still technically a substitute, but they have me working one-on-one with high needs behavioral students. And the student that I was working with, and I will continue to work with, this person just happens to be suspended for the time being, so I'm working with other students. But this student had what we call a blowout, and so they became very upset, dysregulated. So they trashed the entire classroom. I think we have one desktop computer left that works out of the 5 we had. Pottery was broken, like figurines. A desk was completely trashed. Trash cans were flattened, and I got a concussion. So I went to see, I laugh and then it hurts. So I went to see the doctor right after that injury until this morning at 9:20. So I'm just waiting. So other than that, I'm helping a friend, my best friend, redecorate his apartment, and so I've been helping him. I've been having a great time doing that. I get to go to, I told him, wouldn't it just be awesome, outside of maybe, say, a few pieces of furniture, like he wants a sectional couch, which I think we're buying tonight, if I'm feeling well enough. I said, wouldn't it be great if 90% of the things we either bought secondhand or made ourselves to decorate your apartment? And he really liked that idea. So we've been working really hard on doing that. We've been getting little things done here and there, taking apart old furniture that's like from the 90s. Yeah, 90s. But, sometimes people just don't, I don't know if it's splurge on themselves or just, they get into a routine and they don't realize things are getting old and used, and then the next thing you know, it's 20 odd years later and you're still using the same couch. So, and it wasn't meant to be used more than 5 years, because you guys know how couches are made these days. So it's not like when my parents first got married, they bought a love seat that we still have today. Let's see, my parents have been married, Cinco de Mayo was Sunday, and it was their anniversary, and I think they've been married 46 years now. So the couch is 46 years old. It's been recovered once. They're thinking of recovering it again. But see, the thing is that the couch is actually in extremely good shape because it was made well. Not like we make them today. So anyway, planned obsolescence, as they say. So that's really just been my week. Just resting up. A lot of cold compresses on my head. Constantly feeling like I am running a fever when really, and I have a headache, and you guys can see I'm not sleeping well because the head hurts so bad, and then I have to prop myself up just right so I don't like mess things up. And then on top of that, no, there isn't on top of that, is there? No, it's just, well, and then I've got foggy head. I'm having a really hard time with my memory. People will tell me something and I'll be like, huh? Or I can't seem to track sometimes what people are saying. So I'm gonna, and my vision keeps on getting blurry. So we're gonna talk to my doctor about all these things. The school district is being really good about workers' comp. My principal is extremely supportive. I love the school that I am working at right now, and I am hoping, I'm up for a couple positions next year at that specific school, so I'm hoping that I get those. So, you know, I shouldn't have said that. I'll probably cut that part out because, you know, it's like kind of like jinxing yourself. Anyway, so why don't we get on into what's in session? Yeah, what's in session. So, in session yesterday, literally yesterday, I cast on a pair of socks for my bestie in Malabrigo sock, and I actually don't have the tag. I thought I put it in here and I didn't. But it's a green, that's too blue. Okay, there you go, green right there. It does have blue undertones because it's kind of like a foresty, huntery green, kind of a, but not, I want to say mossy, but it's not that acidy moss kind of thing. It's a hard thing to tell you. Anyway, I'm working on the rounded toe, and this is another pattern from Mina Phillips and her Avenue socks. So this is what they look like. Oops, whoops, I went to where I was in the pattern. There you go. Oh, and of course, because it's raining out, I can't really see very well. So what I'll do is I'll post a picture up here. Luckily, I even planned this out, guys. I even planned this out. So this whole place where my hand is so that I can put up pictures and things like that for you guys of what I'm working on. I'm trying. So anyway, I'm working on the rounded toe up again, because I so enjoyed the last pair that I did of hers toe up. So I'm using it on Hygge sharps, on US size, I think it's 2 millimeter, and that is US size something, 0. Oh, okay, darn. Here I thought I was working on larger needles, but I really love the fabric that I'm getting. It's working out very well, and that's way too blue. That's more what the color is right there. So there you go. So I'm going to be knitting the medium width size, men's size 9 or 10, I can't remember. He knows about these socks, so it's no big deal. I was going to have them as a surprise, but I'm just like, who are we kidding? I know he watches my podcast, and I can never keep anything a secret, as we all know. So, you know, there you go. I'm put in my project bag for this is a project bag that a friend and I made years ago, and I've never used. It was supposed to be sold in the AndersMill knit shop, but I kind of snagged it for myself. But then I never used it. So it's got these great knitting sheep all over. Look at this one. I love this one, where it's knitting a sweater onto the sheep itself. I love that one. So then another thing that I have been working on is called the Lounge Top by, Hohi Locatelli, and I'll just show you what it looks like. Looks like this. And I'll put it over here. So it's a very, very simple t-shirt with cap sleeves. You don't pick up things for the sleeves when you're all done. When you're done with the sleeves on the yoke area, you're done, and then you just keep knitting down. And it does have a sort of an A-line-ish shaping on the waist area, and then you can make it as long as you want. And we all know that Emily likes tunic length because, hello, this area right here, not an area I want people to focus on myself, you know. So I have all this Malabrigo yarn. Let's see if I can't find a tag. Not Malabrigo, Hedgehog, but here's a skein of it. I think you guys have seen it. I bought it a couple years ago. I bought it a couple years ago, and I've been hoarding it. And you know, I've got, in fact, I was supposed to, here's a tag. I was supposed to knit something for my wedding out of this, but it didn't end up working out. So I had all these little mini, I had broken up the larger skeins into these smaller ones so that I could blend the colors, the skeins more when I was knitting them up. And that's a really great idea. I love that idea. I still love that idea. I'm just too lazy to do it with the other skeins that I have as well. But this is called Hedgehog Fibers Sock Yarn in the Monarch colorway. So there you go. And the main base is a peachy tone with pops of highlighter yellow, highlighter pink, a little bit of black. I think it's black. Either that is or extremely dark purple. So that's pretty true, honestly, right there. Don't look at my hands. I've been biting my fingernails. I've been biting them like crazy. So I have cast on and am knitting on the yoke area. I think I'm knitting on the front right now, but I haven't worked on this in about a week and a half. I love how it's pooling. It's just for some odd reason this is not calling my name right now, and I wanted it to call my name so badly because I'm like, hello, another summer top. That would be great. Another, I don't even have one that I've knit, but this would be my first summer top. So I really wanted to work on it. And I am alternating skeins, as we were honestly just discussing. So that's the cast on down here. And so, and a friend of mine, actually the owner of the yarn shop, Annie, has these signature needles, and she doesn't like them. And so I'm using them now. So I'm knitting this on Signature Needles US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. I don't think it's the needles that's bothering me. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Signature needles, but I don't think that's why it's not bothering me. I think, okay, to be honest, the construction at first is really annoying. I'm not really sure exactly what this is. I'm not really even sure what this is. I mean, I know I'm at the yoke part, but I'm really confused about the construction. And I didn't have a concussion when I started this, and yet I still can't figure out where all of this comes together. I mean, why all of this is going the way it's going and how it's going to work out. I literally have to trust the pattern, and for me right now, that's kind of annoying. So maybe that's why I'm not working on it. I don't know. But I have this in my beautiful bag here by Peggy's Market that I got from England. She had it on a great sale, and it spoke to me. It screamed by me. So I did. You know, because that's what Emily does. And then, let me see here. What else am I working on? I am working on... Well, that's not what I'm working on there, is it? Okay, well, that's not going to be talked about because now I'm confused. I thought that was something completely different. Okay, well, It's in a fat squirrel fiber bag. It's going in the back. Then another fat squirrel fiber bag, and this one is my lots of just weird things in the bag apparently. This is my Midtown Magic shawl that I'm knitting for one of my really good friends who is not a knitter. And I am currently on, well, I need to actually get going on it and start it on this last lace section. So I think, as far as I can tell from reading the pattern, I have knit all of the black garter sections. Oh, I hear police. Oh no, it's fire truck. I've knit all the garter sections with the, and then the lace gets bigger and bigger. So, and then now I think I'm at the last section where you literally just do all the lace in the world, which is fine because, and this is a free pattern on Ravelry, so it's literally just knit 2, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over. So it's kind of like a mesh, that's the word, mesh stitch. No, you know, that's not coming up well, but it's lovely. Like especially, so a highly variegated yarn like this works out really well because the high variegation with the black tones it down but also makes it pop, if that works for you guys. And the mesh lace works well with the variegated, the simple mesh lace, as it distributes the colors a lot better. So this is Knitted Wit, one of my favorite dyers. She's down in Portland, but she was born and raised in Alaska. So we have that in common. And then she went to college with a good knitting friend. So we have that in common as well. Okay, so I've done that. Then, nope, those are finished objects. All I have left are finished. No, I thought I had one more. Ah, yes. Yes. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Forgot a brand new cast on that I only swatched for and then recalculated all of my stitches, and the size that I'm going to be doing is the confetti sweater. It's a beautiful A-line shaping. Let's see here. Okay. Here's the A-line shaping. So it's nice and zero ease at the bust area, and then it goes and gently swoops out in an A-line shape. And Vera is very well known for this, Vera Valimaki. We did a knit along for the show last year, the year before, and I did a size way too big. It needs to be ripped out. And that was another Vera Valimaki A-line sweater, and I forgot what it's called. All of a sudden, my brain is just going dead. So hopefully I'll have looked it up and I'll put it right in here somewhere. It suits every body type because of the A-line. There's zero positive ease up here, but see how it's flowy and natural on her? Now on this model, I think her torso is pretty long because from the underarm down to the ribbing, the cast off, it's supposed to be 18 inches, and that for me is more tunic length. Well, it's not tunic length actually. Tunic length for me would probably be more like 20 inches, so I'm hoping to get that. Well, no, that's not even tunic length, that's just a longer length really, but I prefer that, and that's what I think that's what I'm going to shoot for. But what am I knitting on, you ask? Well, a longtime favorite of mine is Elspeth Levold's Silky Wool. Let's see if I can get this. Elspeth Levold Silky Wool. And I am doing the main colorway in this maroon and the contrasting little stripes in this baby ballerina pink. So as you can see, the tiny little stripes is the little pink, and the main body with the ribbing and the neckline and everything is the maroon. And this is supposed to be DK weight. However, the this is knit out of fingering weight. So I had to recalculate. So I did a swatch over the weekend. And where did I put my swatch? So at first I did what the ball band called for, which was US size 6. That's this top main area here, and I did not like it. It's too loosey-goosey. There's too much air in there going on. See, you can see my thumbs. Didn't like it. So then I switched to a US 5, and I could have gone down even to a US 4. However, I like the drape of this 5. It's breathable. The Elspeth Lavol yarn is a composition of 45% wool, 35% silk, and 20% nylon. So while it's going to bloom, it also keeps its structure very well, and it becomes softer and softer and softer as the washes go on. How do I know this, you ask? Well, my very first shawl that I ever knit was actually out of this yarn. And to this day, it was a purple, or it is a purple. And to this day, like, we're talking, I don't even know, 12, 15, I don't even know, 12 years later maybe? That's still my favorite shawl. That's the one that I go to immediately. It's comforting, it's soft and enveloping when I put it around my neck, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm choking. Keeps me warm, but it doesn't keep me over hot. So all these things just makes me love it more. And so I just wanted to knit this sweater out of this. And so it might mean that I need to wear a camisole underneath. I'm not really sure, but I don't really care either. Either way, I'm going to knit it at, so my large needle size is going to now be US size 5. And I'm getting 5.5 stitches to the inch, and the pattern is calling for 6 stitches to the inch. So I really, honestly, in the end, I just went down a size that I'm going to be casting on to the extra large instead of the extra large. Yeah, I'm still big. In fact, I feel even bigger lately because I haven't been able to train. I haven't been able to go on my bike, nothing, because of this dang concussion. It's just been, oh. And I'm gonna knit these on my Chiago's interchangeables. I believe these are the 5-inch needle tip sets. And something happened here. So I have the 5s already on the loop. These are actually, honestly, Chiago's and Hygge's. These are my 2 needles that I go to over and over again. These are the red lace. That's what I love, especially for sock knitting. Hygge for sock knitting, their cord is a little bit tangly, but I don't hate it. So I'm housing this in my Hygge Fat Squirrel Speaks bag. And we're going to talk about Hygge a little bit later. And yeah, I told you already what size I'm doing, what yarn I'm knitting it out of. I've got the balls all wound up, the skeins all wound up into balls. I don't have to alternate skeins because they're all of the same dye lot, and Elspeth Lavol is a commercially dyed yarn, and so I don't really have to worry about that, which is freaking awesome. This is the first time knitting a sweater that I don't have to worry about it. Feels great. So why don't we and that was the last of what is in session. So what are my case notes? I finished 2 pairs of socks this week. Now, obviously 1 sock of each of them you guys already knew about, but these are my September honey socks. And this is my own little quick and dirty design where I just knit 3, slipped 1 whenever I changed colors whenever the striping changed colors. And then we have like what I'm calling the banana boat colorway of yellow. Can't even remember who dyed it because I can't find the freaking ball band. But these are from my sister Kelsey. They were supposed to be for her birthday, unbeknownst to me. We celebrated her birthday a couple weeks ago and I was only on the heel of the second one. I still even haven't woven in the ends, I haven't blocked them, but I finished these last weekend and I was pretty happy with them. The only thing I'm concerned about is that I feel like these are going to be too long for Kelsey, and she was wearing tights on her birthday, and so she didn't want to try them on because she felt like she was going to stretch them out and then it wouldn't be a true fit. But you know, I did the fish lips kiss heel. But what I told her is I can easily, if it's too long, I can easily take out the toe. I just kitchenered the toe, take out the toe, bring it back. And what I'm thinking is I just went one stripe too many. So this green stripe here might have to be taken out, and then re-knit the toe. But I'm gonna wait and see when Kelsey tries them on. So those are done. They need to have the ends woven in, and those I did knit on my Chiagus as well. These are also size zeros. Chiagu 2mm. So that might actually be 00. Not sure, but from my other, from my interchangeable sock set. So, and that's also being housed in another Fat Squirrel bag. So there you go. The last pair of socks that I finished, I have to keep track of the time here. Okay, we're doing good. Last pair of socks that I finished was my Avenue socks. No, not Avenue, Park Avenue, I believe. 5th Avenue, something like that. Socks from Mina Phillips. And the sock yarn is On Light, Super Socket, Merino Extra Fine, I think they're German. So, but the okay, sorry about the interruption. There we go. Somebody called asking me to work. But anyway, I just finished these, and as you guys know, I really loved working on these socks. To the point though that I actually had to tell myself I wasn't allowed to cast on my second socks out of the other colorway that I have of this yarn, because I want to spread it out so that I enjoy it. So I told myself, okay, you're gonna knit this pair of socks for my best friend. Almost said his name, sorry, I can't. I promised that I wouldn't. And then after I do that, I can come back and knit the other pair of these, because these are really hard wearing as well. At least I feel like they would be. And so this summer while I'm camping, I can be knitting on these by the fireside. It's great. I love this pattern. It was very simple, very intuitive. I didn't have to carry the pattern around with me. In fact, I didn't have to be reminded. By the time I did toe up, and by the time I knit, like on the first sock, by the time I knit like that much of the main foot, I knew the pattern. It was easy. So I'm very happy with these. They don't have a recipient they're going to, so they might just be mine. However, you know, I have lots of siblings and stuff like that that could also use them. So we shall see. I still have to weave in the ends. And this is in a hot pink socks rusted stitch. This is one of her older bags. Yeah, the rusted stitch on Etsy, who is doing gangbusters with her shawl cuff sales, like crazy amounts of sales going on right now. She's having a hard time keeping up with it, but she's loving every second of it. I'm so proud of her. It's amazing. She's now in a couple shops, one in Oregon. I can't remember where the other one is, but she's now in a couple shops doing wholesale orders, and I think that's just amazing. I'm so proud of her. So what did I buy? Oh shoot, I forgot one thing. I got my monthly subscription from the Cozy Knitter, and I got my monthly subscription from Row 1 Yarns. I forgot sorry, my head is hurting so bad. I forgot to bring my subscription installment from the Cozy Knitter though, which is so funny because since I was thinking, oh, I only have one thing to show, I'll grab one of the skeins of yarn I think they haven't seen, and that's what I did. I didn't need to do that. So, comes in this beautiful bag, and this month, the dyer, I love the dyer's shop name. I believe it's called Duck Knit or something like that. Oh no, it's Duck Wool. Color worth chasing. I just have to show you her logo here. Okay, let's see if you can get in there and see it. You see it? So there's a ball of yarn, 2 ducks, a sheep with a wool sweater on, and then a little girl. I can't tell. Is she knitting on that scarf? She's knitting on something, that yellow thing in front of her. I just love it. And the story is that Sandra Miracle is the wonderful artist behind Duck Wool. Most of my colors are inspired by simple things that unlock a favorite memory. Once I have a color in mind, I can't help but chase it. It is my sincerest hope that the colors captured might spark the child within. Sandra dreams and dyes her yarn in her studio in Allendale, Virginia. So the base that I got is merino sock, and I got all these beautiful colors. There's so many in here that I love. So I'll just pick out a couple. This one is Speckle Pop. That's not doing, there we go. So because I have to pull it back, you can't see all the colors. So the main color is kind of an extremely washed out gray, if that makes sense. It's almost white. And then there's pops of purple, teal, pink, and black in there. Then another favorite of mine is this one. For me, this is like a grello, but no, she's calling it an urchin. Let's see if I can get this one up here. A little bit better, but not quite. Sort of. So the undertone is a very, very washed out yellow, which is very cool, with strong neon pops of yellow and then some black as well. And then I love these guys, these highlighter pops. This one's not so much highlighter, but I just love it with it. These semi-solids. So this pinky, this one's called Pinky Up. This one is Living on the Wedge. And this one is called March On, as in, I'm thinking March, as in April, May, June. And then the last one I'll show you is this one, which is really dramatic. This is After Party, like super cool dramatic. I don't know what I would ever knit in this, but I love it. So there's no one undertone color, I would say. I mean, I guess you could say there's a variegated blackish gray undertone, but then there's rusty orange, blue, like as in like tealy blue, but more blue than teal, green, acid green, yellow, purple. Okay, I think that's the rusted one's kind of really light because that looks brownish, but in a good way. It's just awesome. Like, I would love to knit something out of this, but I have no idea what it would be. So, and there's quite a few more in here. Now, I have yet to knit with any of my row 1 yarns, and that is because I'm hoarding them. It's not because I don't want to knit with them. I desperately want to knit with them. But I've got it in my head that I'm going to knit this blanket out of them. And for some odd reason, or not knit, I don't think knit. I think I was going to crochet a blanket out of them. And for some odd reason, I kept on thinking in my head, oh, I have to wait until I have enough. Bull. I need to just cast on whatever it is I want to cast on and start using these beautiful yarns because they just call my name. It would make me so freaking happy to just be pulling them out and to know that each section is a different dyer. I just love that idea so much. I'm sorry, there's so much. Why am I even bothering with that? I can do that later. too much noise. So then because I thought I only had that one thing to share with you, the other thing I got out was a Hue Loco yarn that I purchased. I want to say before I left Portland, but I'm not actually sure about that. It might have been my Christmas gift to myself. So, and I was a little disappointed in it. I'm not gonna lie. It's called Flower Child, and on the screen, I was like, okay. So in my hands, not so much, but on the screen here, it's looking actually pretty good. It's interesting because I want to say it's pretty dull. To me, it looks dull in real life. I don't know if it's because of this here and then the softer pinks down here. I usually love this kind of thing. And you know what? I'm probably gonna love it. I should, when I knit it up, I should look it up on Ravelry to see how it's knitting up with other people. So, you know, I'm going to reserve judgment. But this is the Phyllis Sock 7525 Superwash Merino Nylon. I don't like superwash. Oh well, that'll be good for my mom for socks. Even though the lady says hand wash, dry, flat. So, my mom does not exactly hand wash her socks that I knit her. So I have to be very careful about that. I should probably knit her some cotton socks someday. That would be a good idea. So we're going to reserve judgment, but this is how this one's going. So those are my acquisitions, sort of, a little bit. One acquisition, one from the vault, I guess. And that leads me into my final little segment, my little on-the-cuff line about mental health. The past couple weeks, I have been thinking a lot about happiness, contentment, and Hygge, or Hygge, or Hygge, you know. I'll put the word right here and then the pronunciation right here. It is the Danish word for coziness, finding joy. It didn't actually originate in Belgium. Not Belgium. It originated in the Netherlands, and then the Danes started using it about the 18th century. And they've built an entire lifestyle, an entire way of life, if you will, around the idea of Hygge. And it's very beautiful. If you go to Copenhagen and you ride a bike, eat porridge, maybe go to a cafe that is also a laundromat, you know, then you're living the Hygge lifestyle. You can be doing Hygge. I'm having a hard time saying the word consistently correctly. I'm gonna go back to the original, to the American way of saying it. So Hygge. You can live that lifestyle very easily over there. Here in the U.S., it's a little bit more difficult. We are constantly bombarded. We have our phones on. I have my Apple Watch. I've got my iPad here. We're constantly connected, and we're constantly being pinged right and left. I mean, when I was recording, by the way, this is a couple hours later, but when I was recording earlier, I was constantly getting interrupted by phone calls, text messages, notifications as I'm trying to record this. And it's very difficult to disconnect. And you don't necessarily have to disconnect in order to be creating Hygge, but at the same time, it's a lot easier to have that inner peace so that you can reflect on your life. And that's honestly a lot of what Hygge is about. Slowing down, slowing not just the body, but the mind down. And I guess that's also, in the US terms, that's about what mindfulness is about. Now, why am I listing that I've been thinking about happiness, contentment, and Hygge? Well, a friend of mine the other day, or I don't know how long ago it was, said to me, I really want you to be happy. And I thought about that and I was like, okay, when have I been truly happy? And when I thought about the times that I was truly happy, none of the times were elongated periods. They were short bursts within chaos, within stress, within moments of peace. Like moments of happiness did not pick and choose when they occurred. And it was always spontaneous. It was not something I naturally just, or not naturally, it was not something that I created. Now, when I say that with a caveat, because you can do certain things in order to promote the potential for these happiness blips. And that's why the idea of contentment came to my mind. I thought to myself, okay, well, if happiness as a whole, like as an entire 24/7 idea is not completely possible, what about the idea of being content? Of being satisfied where I am with my life, satisfied with who I am, and who I project out to the world. Or my contribution, I think is a better way of wording that. So I got to thinking about, okay, so what things in my life cause me to have internal turmoil, internal distress, that rock my boat, if you will, so that I do not feel that contentment. Now, the very first thing that came to mind for me was the fact that I'm now divorced. I've been through a lot of traumas in the last couple of years, and I do not have a partner. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be great. So then, well, does having a partner then automatically mean that I will be content and that I'll have those happiness blips come up more and more? Possibly. Yeah, that could be a great way to look at that. And the same token, I don't want to live my life in anticipation of contentment, of having a partner to create that contentment and that happiness. I don't want to live my life holding my breath, waiting for that next moment, or constantly on the lookout. Could he be it? Or could he be it? I don't want to live my life that way. So if we take out the equation of, say, a partner, like a solid partner, what then would create that contentment in my life? And I started thinking about my friends. I have so many really good friends across the nation, some across the world. Many of them I've mentioned in the past I term in the best friend category. I have people I can talk to and people that, I can share life events with. Like, as in, like, not just tell them the story of the life event, but that I am extremely excited to share the actual moment with. And then I have my family, and I have my dog, Watson, and I have myself. So that's when I started thinking of Hygge. Because when I got to the point when I said, I can be content with myself, I started thinking about, well, how do I create that? And mindfulness did come to mind. That's funny to say. And I do want to continue that. But the idea of coziness sounds so much more uplifting to me and full of contentment than the act of slowing down and being in the moment. And that just seems like a whole lot more work, if that makes sense. Being mindful is work in my head. And I think maybe that's because I have been a therapist in the past. Who knows if I'll ever be one again. But that to me equals work. So, but Hygge, on the other hand, equals contentment, simplicity of joy, and coziness. and reflection. So, how does one create that in life? Now, a lot of people around the internet, they all just sit there and say, and like, I mean, I found countless blogs and countless websites talking about creating Hygge in your life and in your home. All of them said things like, get out and ride your bike to wherever your destination is, buy candles, what was another one they said? Eat porridge. A lot of them talked about this Danish pastry that I think I'm going to try. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a Danish pastry that they eat constantly. And spending time with friends and family. So, and a lot of them talked about reading and those kinds of things. So those are all things that I can easily do. I can come home to my one bedroom, well, it's literally just my bedroom, and I can turn on a little candle. I can light a candle, or a fake candle for that matter, just so that I can have that flickering ambiance. I can turn down the overhead light, maybe just have a soft little lamp over here, just enough, over here, just enough so that I can create a warmth in my home, so that whatever activity I choose to do will then create that coziness that I am and that contentment that I'm searching for. For me, in addition to all of this, things like knitting is Hygge. Knitting in a knitting group is Hygge. Knitting by yourself is Hygge. I can be sitting on my bed, and if I am content, I have just created coziness, thus I have created Hygge. Boy, I'm just going back and forth on how to pronounce it, aren't I? So that's something that I want to promote more in my life. That's something that I'm going to concentrate on and to, what's the word? Well, I'm already concentrating on it, honestly. My bike riding, my exercise, well, though I can't do it right now because of the concussion, that is something that brings me a lot of contentment and joy, which is very strange to say, isn't it? So then does that now say that I will not have happiness in my life? Is that door closed to me? Because I don't, like I just been saying, I don't have that partner. I don't have a great job. You know, I'm living less than paycheck to paycheck. I'm stressed constantly about money and how I'm going to make ends meet. And, you know, when the school year ends, which it's going to end soon, very soon, what's going to be my next step? What's going to be my next option? There's a lot of things in this world that will create that stress. For me, those are a couple of the things that create stress. For somebody else, not being a good, in their mind, in their perception, their point of view, not being a good worker, or not being able to meet the demands of family and friends, or maybe they have health concerns, or they have dreams that they feel like they're not fulfilling, and so that's a stressor on them. Or you have kids, you know, as much as you love them, they are still a stress on you, right? So I think the solution to all of this, though, is, as Oprah once said a long time ago, actually I have no idea how she said this or what, but taking that 10 to 15 minutes a day for yourself. I think she was calling it something like woman's time or mother's time. Can't remember. It was in the 90s, and it was really popular. Everybody was really excited about this, or at least in my sphere. Like, I was hearing it everywhere. And it was actually really good. That's when like all these chicken soup for the soul books were really popular. And so women were like sitting there reading those things, or they were taking baths and just trying to do self-care. I want to point out that Hygge is not gender specific. It is gender neutral. It's gender fluid. Everyone deserves and can have Hygge. So maybe we can start with the idea of doing one simple thing every single day that could promote Hygge, like I mentioned about the whole candles. Fresh flowers are Hygge, especially wildflowers. Having a pot of fresh flowers on your desk, on your kitchen table, that's Hygge. Having a family dinner, that's Hygge, whether it's at home or out to dinner. You doing these one things and recognizing, telling yourself, this is my Hygge moment. That could be your starting point. Or you could do what I was just about to say, which was you could actually sit there and say, okay, at 8:15, I get 15 minutes and I'm going to do A, B, C, D. Could be taking that bath, could be reading a book, could be knitting, it could be going for a walk, and the list goes on. It could be calling an old friend. Hygge, 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 Hygge. All of these things are that. So I just want to encourage you to go ahead and fulfill that within yourself. Find that contentment, find that Hygge, promote that in your life so that the moments of happiness will come more often. Here's the last thing I want to say about this. Happiness is not something that we immediately recognize when we're in the moment. I might not be laughing so hard that spit comes out my nose. What do they call it? Snot comes out your nose. And then that moment, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to pause and say, this is a happiness moment. I am so effing happy. Snot's coming out my nose. Got it. High five, high five, high five. That's not going to happen. However, 10 minutes later, the next day, you're going to bring up that memory, and that feeling of warmth in your heart is going to be promoted. And that's when you recognize that you were happy in that moment. And it's essential that you start recognizing those moments of happiness. We live in a culture where we create want, we create need. I need to be happy. I need to find myself. I want. If I just have this next iPhone, if I just get this next job, if I just find my partner, if I just, then I'll be happy. No, be happy now. Create Hygge in your life. Recognize those moments of contentment and happiness and treasure them. And that is my thoughts for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate the time you take out of your busy schedules to have some Hygge moments with me. So until next time, remember to love what you knit and knit what you love. Ta-ta for now.
Out in the field where the locket flies, over the earth where my heart it lies. Oh, how it sings when the west winds blow. Out in the field where no one goes. Oh, how cold will you let me in? If you could hear me speak, where would I begin? Time it is past now, and I roam free. Is it wrong to wish you still need me? Is it wrong to wish you still need me? Out in the field where the locket sings, here I was waiting for all of things. There I stood and there I fell. Out in the field, got I past now and I roam free. Is it wrong to wish you still need me? Is it wrong to wish you still need me? Out in the field where the lark reside, here I'll remain where my heart can hide. Only the lark and the west winds blow. I'm in this field where no one goes. Oh, how cold will you let me in? If you could hear me speak, where would I begin? Time it is past.